Hi everybody! So it's Emily from D.I.Y, and yeah, so I'm coming at you with another toppings video, how to make certain toppings, and I hope you like this one. We're getting near the end. I'm hoping to top a cake really soon, and I think this is the last video on the toppings. I haven't seen anybody do anything like this, so I really hope you guys enjoy this kind of content. Yeah, if you're enjoying this stuff, please do like and subscribe and share the videos because that really does help. So I really hope that you guys are enjoying what I'm doing, and I really hope that you like the big reveal, I guess, of all these ingredients coming together to make something really fun and fancy and stuff. So I really hope that I do that really well because I don't know what I'm gonna do if the cake doesn't turn out. So we'll see. I'm a little scared. So yeah, so I just want to show you guys what I did. So right now I'm going to introduce the video. If you guys didn't read down below, this is basically doing like a kind of like a candy topper. So there's like toppers you can stick in cakes and things like that, and you can totally use something like that in a faux cake as well if you wanted to. You could just like maybe cut off a little bit of like the stick so that, you know, you're not piercing the box itself, but maybe just cut off a little bit of the stick, maybe put some glue or something on it and then stick it in that way. But I feel like these are really fun because they're kind of flat. It looks like you maybe, you know, either put the candy on top of it or you sort of actually embellished it. And if you actually just want to embellish on a cake, I say in the video, go for it. If that's something you can do, just do it. You know, why not do it, right? Because honestly, there's some people that are really good at decorating cakes and just like going for it, right? And like from scratch, and there's some really talented cake decorators out there already that will probably do this way better than I can do, right? But fonts are not my forte, I have to say. And you don't have to, as I said in the video too, you don't have to use a font for a cake topper, like a candy cake topper or anything like that. You can use logos or anything you want to do, basically. A face, I don't know. I mean, I was thinking, I used to make cakes for my brother's birthday with my grandma years ago, and there was like a cake that she bought one year when the Blue Jays won the World Series back in the 90s. This is definitely aging me. But anyways, when the Blue Jays won the World Series, I think it was first or second time, I can't even remember, there was some sort of like a box cake that came with a bunch of stuff. So it came with a bunch of sprinkles, came with the cake mix, and it came with, I don't think it came with the icing, but it came with like a candy topper of like a Blue Jay for placing in the middle of the cake, right? Just to like make it more festive and make people know that this is authentically a Blue Jays cake. So stuff like that, you can totally do stuff like that. If you got a sports fan in the family that likes a specific team or something, you can do like the team logo this way, and you can put it on a cake as well, or fake cake or something, and they can keep it forever as a keepsake. So that's an option. And like some of these methods, it's showing you how to do things with real icing as well. So I really hope that this helps with your creativity, not just in the craft room, but also maybe in the kitchen. Anyways, I'm just going to introduce the video, so hopefully you enjoy this content, and it's starting right now. I bought some silicone molds for, I think you could use this specifically for food, but I actually kind of wanted to use this for these fake cakes. So you can obviously fill this, if you're doing edible food, you can fill this with chocolate. You can actually squish fondant into this stuff and make lettering, whatever you want to do. With this, for the fake cake, there's quite a few different methods that you can use for this. I'm not going to even show the methods because I don't think I'm going to actually use this for this project. I'm going to show you a different method here in this video, but I just wanted to demonstrate what other methods you can use other than the one that I'm going to show you. So you can fill this with, just like I did with the berries fairly recently, you can fill this with hot glue, especially this sort of thing. Fill this in and then let it set, and then go over top of it where the, I guess, white space or whatever could be, with like another type of glue, like a hot glue or something after that's set, and then you can pop it out. Or again, you could use resin if you're comfortable with resin. I know that some people aren't, some people are. So if you're actually comfortable with resin and you're using it in a safe way, because that's that's number one, I think, when you're using resin, is using it safely with a mask, with gloves, with the whole shebang, like, and not just like a little mask, like I would say respirator mask and a highly ventilated area. As long as you don't use it all the time, I think that resin can be a little bit safer. There are some resins out there that are supposed to be a lot safer for indoor use, but I still would would say even with that, I would say still take precautions and use a mask and do all the things that I just said. So yeah, so basically you can use resin for this, you can use the hot glue method. I'm sure there's lots of other methods you can use as well, but I would say those would probably be what I would use for that sort of thing. You can also use stickers. There's like Puffy stickers and things like that that you can buy, which I haven't purchased because they're super expensive online, but I'm sure if I went to like a dollar store or something like that and found them, or maybe like a craft store of some kind, they're actually really, really beneficial. The only problem is you can't make like a ton. If you need like quite a few different letters and stuff, sometimes you'd have to buy quite a few packs in order to get like a lot of letters. It depends on how much comes in a pack, I guess, really. But I like the fact that you can sort of DIY your own and make your own with whatever materials you have. But yeah, stickers is a method that you could potentially use to top your boxes with like a message or like a happy birthday or something like that. So that's another method. So I moved things around in my dream box. I don't know if you guys have seen the dream box video I have. I'll try to link it at some point, maybe above or something. But these guys I got later and sort of rearranged things in my dream box. I have little hooky things here. It was hanging certain things originally. I sort of moved the hanging stuff like the scissors and things like that, tiny little ones and hole punches and things like that over here. But yeah, so now I have like a whole bunch of these slick tulip dimensional fabric paint, and I'm going to show you a really cool method for making little cake toppers and logos and whatever you want, basically. Okay, so I tried actually doing this video before with a completely different method, but I'm going to try the method out because that one didn't really work out very well. I actually flipped this over in Photoshop. I just sort of put these in Photoshop, did like an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and then just printed it up and got this sort of scripty kind of font, which I think looks really good on top of a cake. So I flipped everything over, and then basically I bought a big pack of plexiglass. Okay, so let's see, what kind of color should I do here? Maybe I'll do a red, because that'll stand out quite a bit. Okay, so basically I'm just going to go to town on this. So I'm just gonna let that sort of set and dry. So what I'm gonna do here is, this has been drying for a little bit now. It's not really coming off on my hands. So I'm going to go over top of this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill the whole thing in to make it like one giant sticker almost, because this is all backwards, so when you peel this off it's going to be the right way. But anyways, I'll let this dry fully and then I'll fill the rest in and you kind of get the picture. It actually might be better to like layer it again, I'm not sure, and thicken it up slightly, but it's really up to you if you want to do that, and we'll see if it rips or not when I tear it off, hoping that it's going to be okay. This is what it looks like. So I'm going to chance this and take this off. I'm hoping that this will peel off quite nicely, but we'll see. It's really hard to say sometimes because it feels quite thin. Here, let's try this one first. Let's try to get a grip on it. Uh-oh. I hope it comes off. Hope it doesn't rip too much because it is quite thin. We'll see. I'm a little bit nervous here. The edges are quite thin, unfortunately. This does not look like it's working at all. Oh no, another one bites the dust. I thought that this was going to pry up really easily, but I guess not. Okay, well, back to the drawing board. So I'm going to try a method out that basically is similar, but I feel like it's going to, hopefully, if it screws up, it'll be easier in the end to deal with. So I have here basically a bunch of happy birthdays, and I'm going to put some wax paper or parchment paper, whatever you prefer, over top of the piece of paper. It doesn't have to be happy birthday, it could be Merry Christmas, it could be Happy Hanukkah, it could be congratulations, it could be some sort of wedding cake thing, or some sort of logo, maybe someone's favorite sports team, or whatever. There's a whole ton of stuff that you could do for something like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, so I have this the right way. The other thing I did everything sort of flipped around and backwards, but this way I'm going to just do it the proper way. And then I'm just taking some Slick Tulip dimensional fabric paint. So it's basically like puffy paint, and it's got like a nice sort of shiny puffy look to it. And I'm just going to squeeze that out along here. Trace out the lettering. So if you are good at doing regular letters and just going for it freehand, you can basically do this on like the faux cake, no problem. Just take this dimensional fabric paint and just go to town. I personally am not the greatest with lettering and fonts free-handed, so I'm going to basically trace this stuff out. And apologies for my shaky hand. It's hard to do when you're squeezing this stuff out, and it's like, you gotta really squeeze this stuff, unfortunately. Be sure to wear old clothes when you're working with fabric paints, by the way, guys. Hot tip. It's like sort of ketchup, you know? Like squeezing ketchup out on something. There, so I mean, the lettering is okay. I'm not finished it. I have to let it dry for a moment, and then I'm going to probably put some white around it. If I don't let it dry, the red is going to bleed into the white that I want around this thing. I think I'm going to maybe do a few more lettered things, let those dry, and then put some stuff around it so that it's basically one giant sticker, and then I can just cut around that. So I'm just going to do the rest off camera, and I'll show you guys the next step. Okay, so I last night did some outlining around these guys here. I'm just gonna cut them out. I'm gonna show you sort of how I did some of the outlining with this, just not all of it, just a little bit of it, just to show what I did. It is a little bit tricky. There's a way to clean this stuff up. So anyways, I'm just gonna cut this stuff out and show you how I did this sort of thing here. Follow the border that you've made basically around and just sort of make it like a sticker. There we go. So now it's basically, it looks like a sticker. You just probably have to glue the back side and just stick it on something, and it'll hopefully look kind of like a candy topper. You can go over stuff if you want to. What I might do, because I might not do the whole thing, like go over the whole thing. I mean, you can make it puffier if you want to. Like, this guy looks fairly puffy the way I did it, but you can fix it. There's like little mistakes and stuff like that here and there that I can sort of see. I mean, being a perfectionist is kind of, it's just par for the course, I guess. I'm just going to show you guys how I'm going to clean this up a little bit. So I'm going to take like a tiny little brush like this, squeeze it a bit onto a piece of the leftover parchment paper, just a tiny bit, and just sort of dip my brush in and just sort of clean up some of the edges here just by painting it. Just some of the stuff that looked kind of like it got painted over with the white. It doesn't look tremendously straight or anything anymore. Yeah, you don't have to necessarily do this. If you're not a perfectionist like me, that's probably healthier. To be honest with you, I just like things looking professional, I guess, as much as possible. But anyways, you guys get the picture. There's little things where like bubbles came out of the paint and it sort of splurted a bit onto the lettering. So it's just cleaning up little things like that that you might want to do depending on the type of person you are. But anyways, I'm just gonna shut off the camera so you don't have to watch me being a perfectionist the entire time. Okay, so I cut this guy out. So the surface is a little sticky, by the way, because
because that's kind of what happens, I find, with this sort of paint. It's not like full-on sticky, but it's sticky enough. Another thing you could do is you could actually go over it again if you really want it to be puffy. You can go over certain sections, or you can actually use this to go over the lettering again. You can even fill this in first and then do the lettering. That might actually be really convenient for a lot of people to do that way. If you want to, you can add a little more extra pizzazz and you can get a bunch of different colors of this stuff and just sort of dab things like I just did to make like sprinkle effects. While this is still wet, you can even add like fake sprinkles or something to this to just give it a little extra something. That's really your call. It's up to you. I'm going to like fix this up basically right now off camera, but I just wanted to show you basically another method of how you could potentially fix this up as well in case you want a different effect. So I'm just going to show you some, not all of it, but some of what I was doing before with these sort of things in order to go around the edges. It's basically what you think. It's really tedious work. This might be something that most people wouldn't want to actually take on and do. But I just figured I'd show you guys in case you ever wanted to do something similar to this. Again, you don't have to do script. You could do like a logo or something really cute and fun that could top a fake cake. Yeah, so basically you just sort of go around the edge. I know there's some candy toppers that are very smooth looking. If you want to sort of do a different method, you could potentially, as I said, put stickers on here, like buy stickers and put that on here. You could die cut things. I think I forgot to mention that. You can actually die cut, like say a happy birthday sentiment or something, if you've got a die cutter. And then if you want to, you can die cut foam if you want to puff it up a bit. You can die cut paper and then emboss the paper with like embossing powder and ink and then puff it up with the heat gun. There's so much you can do to make cake toppers. This is the most tedious way of doing things, the most tedious method I can think of. I'm sure there's other methods that are way more tedious than this. But again, like if you have a really steady hand or you're really good at doing script in general, maybe you are a cake artist. You don't have to watch this video if that's the case. So this is really hard to get in here. You have to sort of be very delicate if you can with like the inside of the letters. If you get in the corner, and I'm sure you could paint this corner if you want to, push it around with like a paintbrush if that's really what you want to do, if you want to get super perfectionisty about it. Sometimes people use metal tools if they're decorating like a cookie this way. It's almost like that kind of icing. It's very liquidy. It is a little forgiving. You can push things around. Whoops, as it's drying. Oh, see, stuff like that happens sometimes though. So sometimes bubbles happen, as you can see here, and they'll go over the work that you just did. That's okay. Just let it dry and then just do what I did where you just sort of touch it up. Yeah, so like mistakes will happen most likely. They will arise no matter how careful you are. Unless you have your own method of doing things. Sometimes air bubbles will happen and you can't really fully help it. Anyways, you kind of get the picture. You sort of go around this little thing like a sticker, fill in all the gaps, try not to leave any holes, and just do the little outline around it, and that should do the trick. So I'm not gonna let you guys watch this whole thing. Okay, so I just finished painting over the letters for this. Like obviously I cut this out off camera. I did a little bit of touch-ups on the brown. I probably could use a little bit extra touch-ups and stuff, but mostly I'm overall happy with it. So I basically I went over the letters so it didn't look like I just was slightly touching things up and painting over certain things. And I really like it a lot. I think this one really turned out really great. And again, looks very puffy. Looks like actual icing because I have like a couple layers on it. But these are the other ones that I did. I still love the other ones that I did as well. I think that they turned out really good too. People might do a better job than me. I don't know. This is just an idea that you can try doing. Even if you don't do a better job, I don't know. I think it's something fun to do. It may be too tedious for a lot of people. That's probably why a lot of people don't do this sort of thing. But overall in the end, I think that once I glue everything down and it's not going to look like a wrinkly or something, that I think might be a good thing. Also, if you don't want it to be super wrinkly, another idea might be to stretch out the parchment paper or the wax paper that you are working on in advance before you start painting, and that might actually make things a lot smoother in the end. Also, maybe when things dry, you can always place like a bunch of heavy books on top, and that can flatten things out more, like how people flatten out leaves and things like that. But once you glue something like this on, it's just probably gonna look like something edible, if that's what you want to go for. But I have just different ideas here. Like, these are kind of more, I'd say, classic sort of looks. This is just like if you want something really fun, like whatever colors you want, fun, cool colors and stuff like that. This obviously looks like chocolate and like white icing or something. This looks like, basically these are fairly neutral ones, I'd say. I don't know, I just really like the fun colors in this one. It's very, very similar colors to my logo. I mean, maybe the pink is a little too bright or something. I think that they're really, really fun, happy colors. I'm not knocking these guys. I think they're great too. But anyways, that's the end of this video, and I really hope that you enjoyed this project.
So yeah, that's my candy toppers that I made, and I got all 3 of them here. I haven't topped a cake with them yet, but yeah, you can just place that on the cake when you put the spackle icing on. Just squish it in there. You don't have to glue. You can glue it afterwards too if the spackle's dry and it's flat. You can glue it on afterwards as well. That's not that big of a deal either. But I feel like it's just easy enough when the spackle's setting to just smush it in there. Not too smushy, obviously, but just sort of like lay it on top and just sort of smooth it out a little bit. But yeah, it's nice because the paint is puffy. It makes it look kind of like it's actual icing. It's kind of got a shine to it, like some chocolate might. So it looks like chocolate or icing or something, depending on what you would top a cake with. Like, you could top a cake with either or, right? So, but yeah, I really think that a lot of them turned out really cool, and I really like this one. I don't know, I like the colors. I think they're fun. That's just me. Anyways, yeah, so that's that video, and I'm really hoping that things turn out now that I've got all of these toppings and stuff like that done, and I can easily just pop a cake with them, just like pop everything on real fast and just show you guys the outcome and how festive you can make a gift box for somebody for their birthday. It could even be for, like, it doesn't have to be for birthdays. It could be for Christmas, for anniversaries, for Valentine's Day, for really any time of year. It can even just be a just because present. As I said, you can make like a Blue Jays cake if you really want to, just because someone's interested in that and they're a sports fan or whatever. There's lots of really cool things you can do with these cake toppers. Again, they don't have to be scripted. Anyways, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video as usual. If you did, please let me know down below. Also, give it a thumbs up, give it a subscribe, and if you really, really like it and you think somebody else is going to enjoy it, please share the video with somebody else. But for now, I really hope everybody has an awesome day. Thank you so much for coming to this channel, and have a great day, guys. Okay, bye!